Alright, so good day class. So today we're going to discuss about the recommended professional fees. Okay, so take note of the term recommended. Okay, so recommended means that it's just a guide for us architects on how we should charge our clients. Okay, so I think the fees are grouped into the different groupings in accordance with complexity. Okay, then it's also grouped according if it's detailed engineering and architectural design service or detailed architectural design services. So let's look at group 1. Okay, so group 1 class, so these are the buildings which has only simple character or planning involved. So let me read this. So buildings of the simplest utilization and character, which are without complication of plan, design, or detail, and which require only a minimum of architectural finishes, engineering, and allied architectural elements. So these are armories, bakeries, habitable agricultural buildings, hangars, industrial buildings, manufacturing plants, packaging and processing plants, parking structures, printing plants, service garages, simple loft-type buildings, and warehouses. So though class manufacturing industrial plants are complicated, uh, if you look at it in the mechanical aspect, in terms of architectural design, it's only simple in character. Okay, so it's divided into DAEDs and DADs. So when you look at it, okay, for the detailed architectural engineering design service, so it's around, if it's 50 million and less, so it's around 5%. Then there are also some bracketing. Okay, so I won't discuss this. Just familiarize yourselves with the bracketing class. Okay, because some of these might come up in the board exam someday. Okay, then for DADs or the detailed architectural design services, wherein you're only engage the client for purely architectural, it's around 3%. So that's for 50 million and less. And then it also has different bracketing over up to over 1 billion pesos. Okay. So next is what you call the group 2, which are buildings of moderate complexity of planning or design requiring a moderate amount of research and of engineering and allied architectural design. So these are the art galleries, banks, financial institutions, bolodromes, call centers, churches, I think schools, service apartments, especially shops, welfare buildings, etc. Condominiums are also included in these classifications. Okay, so there's no need to memorize everything class. What's important is that you understand what buildings do you think has only moderate, requires only moderate research and engineering and allied architectural design. Okay. So for the detailed uh, architectural engineering design services, meaning the fees for the other engineers are also included. If it's 50 million or less, it's around 6%. Okay. Then for DADs or detailed architectural design service for 50 million and less, so it's around 3.6%. Then, of course, there are also subcategories up to over 1 billion. Okay. So you just familiarize yourselves with the figures class. Don't I recommend that you do not memorize this. If you memorize it now, chances are when we are done with our course in professional practice, then you have already forgotten it. So these are things that you must learn by heart. Okay, so over time, I think slowly you're going to familiarize this. It's not only useful in the board exam, but it's also useful when you practice and become architects. Because these are you call this the guide on how you're going to charge your clients something. Okay, so let's look into group 3. So when you say group 3, so these are buildings of exceptional character and complexity of plan or design, or requiring comparatively large amounts of research and of engineering and allied architectural design. So you look at airports, terminals, aquariums, auditoriums, breweries, cold storage facilities, convention facilities, mental institution, mortuaries, of course, nuclear facilities, observatories, public health centers, research facilities, hotels, gymnasiums, medical arts, marina, laboratories, telecommunication buildings, transportation facilities and systems, and other buildings of similar nature or use. So these are the buildings under Group 3. Okay? You don't need to memorize everything. You just have to take note that these should be buildings of exceptional character. Okay? Like for example, nuclear facilities, of course, it requires a lot of research. Also aquariums, it requires a lot of research because you have to look into the different technical data when it comes to the fishes that you're going to place, when it comes to the glass, okay, when it comes to maintaining the aquarium, etc. So for the detailed architectural and engineering design service, which includes the fees for the engineers as well, so it's around 7% for 50 million or less, and there's a bracket up to over 1 billion. Like also with the DADS or the detailed architectural design service for 50 million or less, so it's around 4.2%. Then over 1 billion, so there's also a bracketing. Okay? So it's 7 and 4.2%. So if it's exceptional in character. Then the favorite of most architects, okay, especially those of us who do not become architects or the really famous ones. So it's the detailed architectural engineering design service for Group 4 or the residential buildings, which is 10% of the project construction cost. Likewise, its detailed architectural design service is around 6% of the PCC, which I think is just fair. Okay. I think real estate brokers, they also have 5% for their transactions. So I think it's only fair the architects charge around 6. Then monumental buildings, that's Group 5, and other facilities requiring consummate design skill and much precise detailing. So these are your expositions in fair buildings, mausoleums, memorials and monuments, buildings of similar nature or use, museums. So for the detailed architectural engineering design service, it's around 12% of the PCC. Then for the detailed architectural design service, it's 7.5. Then you have what you call Group 6. Okay. So when the plan, design, and related contract documents are reused for the repetitive construction of similar buildings without amending the drawings and the specifications, the architect's fee is computed as follows. So the first building, it's 100% of the recommended professional fee for the building type. For the second building, it's 50%. For the third, it's 40%. And for the fourth and succeeding, it's 30% of the RPF for the building type. Then there's a note here. Major adjustment due to site condition will affect the professional fee. If the site becomes more complicated, of course, there will be some adjustments also. Then Group 7, when the architects engage to undertake a housing project involving the construction of several residential units in a single site with the use of one set of plans or specifications and related documents, the architect's fee chargeable shall conform with the following. So these are the bracketing class. So for the first unit, that's around 10%. For the DAEDs, for the DADs, around 6. So these are the basic fee. But from 2 to 10 units, it's only 50%. Okay. Then for 11 to 30, for the DAEDs, it's 40. Then 31 to 50, that's 25. Then 51 above, it's 15%. For the DADs, it's 30% for 2 to 10, 24% for 11 to 30, 15% for 31 to 50, and 9% above 50 units. Okay, so I think it's a lucrative uh, fee, especially if you get involved in residential subdivisions. Hopefully, this is followed in the actual practice as well, but it would really depend. Okay. Then Group 8 are projects involving extensive details such as designs for built-in components or elements, built-in equipment, special fittings, screens, counters. So that's around 15% of the PCC. So I think it would be the same for DUDs or DAEDs. Okay, but I think it's only 15% here because most of these they require a lot of detailing, especially in the architectural side. Then group 9 for alterations, renovations, retrofit, and expansion or additions to existing buildings belong to groups 1 to 5. The compensation of services should be increased by 50% for a total of 150% of the RPF. Okay. Then group 10, where the architect is engaged to render opinion or give advice. Okay, that's around 1,000 per hour according to SB document 201 under the consultation. But it would really depend, class, on you, the practitioner, someday. Okay? You have there are a lot of factors to determine this. For example, your experience, okay, and the number, your expertise as well. So that's why I'm encouraging you when you finish your course, okay, when you finish your apprenticeships, when you finish taking the board exam, don't stop learning. Um, Try to study for your master's and your doctorate, and look for a specialization that you find yourselves comfortable with, and you think that specialization has a niche in the industry. Okay. So if you have any further questions or clarifications, class, you can reach me anytime through my Facebook or email. I'll be posting our activity at our group page. Okay, so I hope that you're all doing fine, and I think it's high time that we schedule next meeting for a synchronous discussion, especially if you have questions on the actual practice of the profession. Okay, so I'll be answering your questions. So I hope uh, you take note if you have clarifications on any of the items discussed prior these past weeks.